Hi,
Hi. It's
how
my
are
first
you?
Instagram live, so I wasn't sure if you'd be able to see me.
I can see you. Congratulations. This is, by the way, many people's first Instagram Live is this little show, and it was mine just like 2 or 3 weeks ago whenever I started this. So
That just it puts me a little bit more at ease. Thanks
are
again for
you in
having me.
Canada now? Oh, it's my pleasure. Do you so you're based in Canada. Are you there now?
Yes, so I live in Ottawa, and I was just looking out the window, and it's actually started snowing here. It was raining a second ago, and now it's snowing again. So spring is still far away.
This is another one of those reminders, like when I look out my window and it's pouring, like it could always be worse. It could be snowing. You never know.
It's true, and it can snow. I mean, we've had snow in May. It's the kind of stuff that won't stay long, but it's still kind of it gets to you after such a long winter.
Yeah, indoors in particular.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
congratulations on your book. Very exciting.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a long road to get here, so I'm really excited to chat with you today. Steered in another direction and had a full career in research before this, but when I finished my doctorate, I finally realized, okay, it's time to start pursuing that dream. So that's when I committed to writing full time, and this is the book baby that resulted.
Yay.
So
It's a beautiful
yeah,
cover, by the way.
oh, thank you. Yeah, I guess I'll hold it up. I'm sorry you don't have a copy,
I
but
know
I'd
I
be
don't
happy
have
to
like
send you
I
one.
don't have I have electronic copies of all the books coming out, which is fine. I mean, I order them, but they haven't, a lot of them don't come. And anyway, um,
Yeah, no, exactly. Especially these days with deliveries being a lot slower and everything, but it's all good.
okay.
So here it is.
And tell
So it's
tell
called Secret.
everybody what it's about.
Sure. So the title is Secret Lives of Mothers and Daughters. It's a mother-daughter story told in two timelines, all about the ties that bind mothers and daughters together, but also the secrets that can tear them apart. So in terms of genre, it's considered women's fiction, but it's also considered diverse or own voices, which is a movement that's picked up steam in the last couple of years that I'm really proud to be a part of, especially as someone who grew up reading books that didn't necessarily reflect me or my family or my background. So to be a part of this now is that it's really something I'm really proud of. So in terms of the story itself, we have two protagonists. The first is Asha. So she's a young woman. She's just turned 18, and she's very excited about the future. She's about to start university when her parents reveal to her this long kept family secret, which is that she's adopted. They don't know very much about her birth family, but her birth mother did leave behind for her a letter before she passed away. And this letter sort of presents Asha with more questions than answers. And that starts her whole journey of self-discovery, where she's asking herself the big questions like, who am I? Where do I come from? What happened to my birth mother? Why didn't my birth father keep me? Can I ever trust my parents again? That sort of thing. So she's sort of thrust on this journey, and we as the reader get to follow along. And she discovers that the answers are far more complicated than she could have imagined. So for her, that's more of a coming of age kind of story. So that's one timeline. And the second one we have is Mala. And so she's a bright young scholar. She's just returning to her doctoral studies after a leave of absence following the passing of her father. This very sudden, tragic passing of her father. So she's quite happy to be returning to her life and getting back to some semblance of normal for her. But at that point, her mother makes a request of her that puts her in a very difficult position. And from that point onward, Mal is sort of torn between duty and desire, the sort of wantings of her own heart, but also wanting to make her mother happy and meet her mother's expectations. So as the story unfolds, we see how these two timelines intertwine. And I guess I've always pictured it being the kind of book that maybe a daughter could find first and then give to her mother, or a mother could find first and share with her daughter, and just interesting discussions and conversations sort of sparking from there.
So awesome. How did you come up? This is your second novel. How did you come up with the
Yeah.
idea for this?
Yeah, so it's my second novel, my first with a big publisher, and my first, it's the book that helped me find an agent. So it really did help me in terms of my own career get to that next level. So it's quite a special book for me in those terms. There was a few different points of inspiration. I always wanted to write a book that had some element of arranged marriage in it. And it's interesting how that starting point kind of evolved into looking at how all relationships are arrangements of one sort or another, with their own constraints and their own freedoms. So that was one point of inspiration. And the other one was, I always knew I'd write a tragic love story someday, because I have this great love of Victorian novels. And one cool thing about both Asha and Mala is they both read Jane Eyre at different points in their lives. And they both connect to the story and find a hero in Jane. So that was really fun for me as an author to be able to add my love of Victorian novels into the book, and yeah, just share that with the reader as well.
Oh, it sounds so great. It sounds
Thank you. That's so sweet.
So how does it feel to have it out in the world now, especially with the state of the world that we're in?
Yeah, publishing takes so long. So I signed my contract 2 years ago. We've been doing revisions for a year, and there was so much anticipation, And then the book had been out for about a month before things started to get really bad. And then, of course, all the author events that I was looking forward to this spring are gone. And that's the right choice, but it's still kind of difficult not to be disappointed about it after waiting for so long. But that's what's so great about the bookish community, because, we're all just looking for connection now more than ever. And books are such a great way to be with each other when we can't physically be with each other. So there's always a silver lining. Yeah.
Someone yesterday asked, what are any authors going to just do the whole tour but later? Like, do you think you're going to just pick up the tour when eventually the gates open and we can all be out and about again? Or do you feel like the virtual tour is what it is? And I don't know. What are you thinking?
Wow. I mean, so many of us are just holding on and thinking like maybe life will get back to normal in the fall. But I don't know. Every day when I watch the news, I feel like things are getting a little bit worse. And I know where we live, our public health officials are telling us to get ready for the surge. So the peak is coming. Sometimes I feel like we're going to be doing this for a year or something. It might take a really long time for life to get back to normal. So at this point, I've just tried to, embrace all of my varied emotions about it, and also just be grateful for whatever opportunities might come my way. And of course, just be grateful that my family's still healthy, and we're doing pretty well compared to how some families are doing. So I guess it's all relative.
Yeah, well, that's a good attitude. And thank you so much for this book and for coming on this little show, and for all you're doing by putting all your thoughts and all your hard work into the world. So it's really awesome.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, and your community's so lovely.
Oh,
it was my pleasure to be here.
Oh, good. Okay. Bye. Congratulations
Take
again.
care.